Hello, everyone. Hi, how are you? Today is Thursday, March the 12th. Happy to have you guys join me this evening. I wanted to talk about a lot of other things, but obviously coronavirus is on everyone's mind, so we're going to start the show with that. But first off, I just want to say thank you and welcome to another wonderful episode of Margaux with Margaux. Do you have any wine, soda, or something nice to drink? Just say thank you for a wonderful Thursday. I hope your day was wonderful, and I hope tomorrow is even better. And here we go. Let's toast. That's it. That's wonderful. That's just simply wonderful. One more sip. Mm, I tell you, nice glass of wine is always wonderful. So thank you again for joining me. The last 2 days we started to focus primarily on the coronavirus. Obviously, it's affecting all of us. It's a worldwide epidemic, and here in the states, I know that we have one of the best countries in the world, and we have the most excellent infrastructure there is possibly to have for a good country. But I am, after reading today's and yesterday's news, I have changed my thoughts a bit on the serious nature of this. And this all came about because I started understanding the limited amount of test kits. So my theory is this: if there are not enough test kits getting to the right people who could possibly be ill, then they don't know that they are ill and they're spreading it to other people as we speak. So I decided for myself that I would kind of go into a mini lockdown and kind of re-examine all the things that I do and how can I prevent myself from, of course, getting the coronavirus. I wash my hands even more now, much more clean than I ever have been. It's I'm very clean now. But I think this is really important that as a country and as citizens and part of everyone is affected by this, I think we need to support and love and support each other. If you have any elderly friends or family members, I recommend reaching out to them and making sure that they're protected because they, of course, can get they can get coronavirus by someone who doesn't have many of the symptoms or may not even realize how sick they are. So I think it's important to do what you can to protect your loved ones. And if you have friends that don't have close family members that are of age and have different types of ailment or any ailment related to your immune system, I think it's important to reach out to them and see if they need any assistance or help. I think it's getting really difficult now for people who are older. Most of the deaths have been around the age of 80 and 70. So that age group, I particularly would pay attention and see what you could do to help anyone of that age. My parents, fortunately enough, I have a lot of siblings, and so my parents, of course, are taken care of. But there are a lot of people out there that don't have that resource or don't have close family members or friends. If you have a neighbor that you haven't seen for a while and you know that they're not close to their family, maybe you could reach out to them. I think it's a really good time for our country to pull together. I know that this is a political season. This is the election year, so it's a very divisive mindset out there, and I think it's all in our best interest to work with our president and do what we can to support him and support our citizens and support each other. It's time for our country to come together. You may have disagreements, but it doesn't resolve or solve any problem whatsoever. I think it's important that we support each other. If you see someone out and they appear to be sick, that you try to do what you can to help them. Obviously, you have to protect yourself first and do what you can. I recommend also looking at your diet, making sure you're eating the right foods. Your diet has a lot to do with your immune system as well, and being careful what you eat, how you eat. Don't share food with anyone, don't shake hands with anyone, and be very mindful of where you go, what you do, and who you're associating with. It's called social distancing. Boy, it sounds like a science experiment or out of a sci fi movie, which if you guys have watched me over the last few weeks, I'm a little obsessed over sci-fi films, but this is really serious. I've never thought I'd be in something like this. It's always something you see in the movies where people are afraid of getting sick, but in this particular case, I'm starting to get a little concerned, and I think it's because of the test kits. I think they're not enough. I think they're working overtime day and night to provide those test kits, and my heart goes out and prayers go out to the scientists who are behind getting, or people that are behind getting the test kits to the public, and also to our many researchers, scientists, doctors, nurses, and everybody on the front line, even our military, that are on the front line battling this coronavirus. And it's kind of an unseen enemy that we all can unfortunately get. It's an enemy that we can't see with the visible eye, and I think that's what makes it so bizarre. Yeah, I don't even think they understand fully of how it operates. They're learning more and more every day. I'm sure they're working day and night to get a cure because we have to get to the bottom line on this coronavirus. And my heart, again, my prayers go to everyone that's involved, also the families that have been infected with coronavirus. My heart goes out to them as well. But as a citizen like yourself, I think the main thing is taking responsibility for what you can control. If you're feeling sick and you're not sure, isolate yourself, use a separate bathroom, wash your hands obsessively. Every single thing you touch, be careful and mindful. If someone else is sick in your household, isolate them immediately from the rest of the family. You have to do whatever you can to protect the germs and understand how germs spread. We touch something, we touch our mouth or our face, the germs come into our bloodstream, comes into our body, and usually through our nose, mouth is usually where it starts to come into your body. So I think be very mindful of what it is that you're doing each day. Um, I also want to share with you a few websites that I think are very helpful. There's a lot of great information about how long to wash your hands, what to do. Three of the websites that I've been mentioning over the last few broadcasts have been the following. The World Health Organization gives an update on how many people around the world are affected, how many people have passed, and the most current information. They're always updating their website. I recommend going there. And their website is www.who.int. Again, that's who.int. Next website has another great information as well, Center of Disease Control. That website is www.cdc.gov. www.cdc.gov is another one. The third website is the National Institutes of Health, and that one is www.nih.gov. So those are the three websites I recommend that you go on to get some current information of what's happening in the world. As much as I started this show, I wanted to talk about all these exciting, fun things like movies and TV shows and wine and business, but my goodness, the business at hand is the coronavirus, and we need to beat it. That's what my thinking is. Hold one sec. We're going to take a little bit of sip. We're going to destroy coronavirus, ladies and gentlemen. We're bigger and we're stronger, and we're going to take control, and we're going to get rid of it. Someone right now around the world is already discovering a cure for this thing. Somewhere deep in someone's mind and psyche, God is pulling them to find a cure, because we need your help. So my prayers are with those people out there who are thinking of how to solve this problem. There are scientists and there are doctors that are out there doing it. I just want to share another really great resource as well. Dr. Oz, if you go online to either Twitter or his website, has some really good tips of cleanliness, which I thought were really good and quite good information. I'm going to read to you about this Berlin biotech company, how it got its head start in the coronavirus test. Now, so earlier today, because I'm isolating myself, I had a little bit more time to kind of do some reading, and apparently this company is one of the first companies came out with the coronavirus test. What I found interesting was I tweeted it, and then about 2 hours later, President tweeted it. So You can find it on at Margaux Show and at Margaux Monet on Twitter. I'm going to post it all on all my social media sites, but I'm going to read to you a little bit about this one doctor who's already has already made his company's already made 4 million test kits. So shortly after New Year's, let me read the article, the beginning of it. Overt Land started seeing news reports of a strange disease spreading in China. The German scientists, who's developed tests for ailments ranging from swine flu to SARS, Sunseed had an opportunity and a new mission. He spent the next few days quizzing virologists at Berlin's Charité Hospital and scouring the internet for more information on what soon became known as the novel coronavirus. And by January 10th, by the way, January 10th is my birthday. January 10th, he introduced a viable test kit. His phone hasn't stopped ringing since. Everyone here is putting in 12 to 14-hour shifts. The Ponytail Land, that's his name, Landt, as he rushes through the corridors of the TIB Maribel Cilantro GmbH, the Berlin biotech company he started 3 decades ago. We're nearing our limit. So my thought is we need to do what we can to help this doctor in Germany. I'm sure the government and everyone knows this and are all over it. And if the president tweeted about it, that tells you he knows they know what they need to do is to get everyone tested and start setting up facilities everywhere. I don't know how they're going to get a hold of this disease. I'm sure they got a plan that they can't, of course, share with the public yet. But they got to have an A, B, C, D plan. And I actually think you should have one too. I think everyone should have some type of plan and action. If you're an entrepreneur like myself and any type personality, you always have plans because you know in life things don't always turn out the way you want. You plan for the best. You expect the best, but you plan in case something doesn't go right. I just want to thank you for taking the time to tune into the show. I wish I could talk about some more exciting subjects that were more fun, but this is where we're at, and this is what we need to focus on. I'm also going to share with you some other information as well. I definitely wanted to see this movie, The Quiet Place. This is just between you and me. I know it's trivial, and why should I mention I want to see a movie, but I love the first one. It was actually quite good. So it's been pushed back. A lot of the television shows that have an audience now, they no longer have an audience. Princess Cruise Lines have suspended the voyages because of the 2 coronavirus outbreaks. And of course, you know, the NBA suspended the entire season. I think this is going to happen across the country. Anytime there's any crowd anywhere, they're going to start to limit that, which means you sort of have to think outside the box. If there's any type of event that you were planning to be a part of or location that you're planning to be a part of, most likely they're going to limit that. So you should start thinking of what your plan A, B, C, D, or E plan is. My prayers are that they're trying to not share so much with the public because they're concerned about public concern, but I think as a citizen, it's important to do what you can in your power. Also, my heart goes out to the people in Italy. We own a home in Italy, and I just really feel for the citizens of Italy and what they're going through. And if you look at what's going on in Italy, you think to yourself, could this happen here in the States? Well, I don't want to be negative, but we need to be prepared. And I think the hospitals and people there are really concerned. Because when this coronavirus hits a specific area or town, the amount of work to isolate it is overwhelming because it travels so quickly. I think it's important that we're gonna figure out a solution. And you know what? Usually when something negative happens in life, there's some positive on the other side. I think once we find a cure for this, we may be able to find a cure for other ailments as well. I always think there's a silver lining. You just have to have an incredible amount of faith. I think that's the best approach. Be positive, be strong, stay strong. We will get through this. We've been through many years. We've been around, and humans are still strong, still here. In the United States, my golly, we're a strong country and a strong group of people, and I just think we're going to get past this point in history. We'll look back at this 2, 3, 5, 10 years from now and think, wow, I'm so happy we made it through. Be something we could share with our kids or grandkids one day. So um, I don't know if there's anything that you like for me to talk about in the show about coronavirus that I'm not talking about or addressing. You certainly can let me know. I take this very serious, and I think everybody in the media is taking this quite serious because they have more information than all of us, and I think our politicians are concerned. I think we need to all just be a team and work together, and we're going to get through this. This German doctor and the test kit, I'm going to find out a little bit more and see what I could do. I don't know what I could do. I'm sure there's other people that are doing much more than I could do, but I do feel compelled. I got to do something. If there's an also just also I recommend talking to your kids about coronavirus in a way that they feel, if you're a parent, to talk about it in a loving, kind tone, that we're going to be okay. Just reassure children that this time in history we will survive. Don't be afraid, don't be fearful, don't buy into the mind games or what tragic thing can happen. You take it one day at a time. I recommend meditating. That's what I do to keep myself calm. I meditate. I laugh a lot. I love good movies. Oh, but I will stay away from any movie dealing with a pandemic. There are a lot of good films that have come out over the last 25 years. I will not eat any popcorn and see the end of the world. I will not. I will not. This is just too much. I do think it's a time that we should sit together, be together. Now that nobody's going to be doing much, we could reach out and have more friends. I've been calling people in Europe and around the world that I know, saying hello, how are you doing? I have friends that are so secluded right now. They've actually gone off into their own cabins and their own way in the snow. I do think you just have to walk through this day by day, inch by inch. If you're preparing your food, make sure you wash your hands. I literally wash my hands all the time. Every time you touch a doorknob, the steering wheel, the door, wash it off. Wear gloves if you need to. If you need to go around certain things, be as very mindful. If you're touching and you have a lot of germs you feel on your hand, do not wipe your face. Be mindful. Just take your time. Wash it. I wash my hands for at least 30 seconds. I count to 30, and that's how I do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, the whole bit, to make sure that my hands are clean. It's something as simple as washing your hands can stop the spreading of this. It really is an easy thing to do, and something you just can't take for granted. You're not going to get this disease. I think that's the part of the problem. I think people take for granted, oh, well, I won't get coronavirus. And look what happened. I mean, look what happened with Tom Hanks and his wife, Rita Wilson. Who would have thought? And apparently, from what I've read in the news reports, they got the coronavirus here in the U.S. So that's something I'm sure people are going to be talking about online and on television for some time. We are going to try to talk about other topics as well, but everything that I want to talk about is affected by coronavirus. Whether it's movies, coronavirus, fashion, now they're going to start doing shows without an audience, coronavirus. It's impacting every part of my life. And I just feel as a citizen, I have to say something and try to be supportive of you guys and whatever I can do to help. Um, I'm very blessed and fortunate that I have nice people and good people. So we need to just get out there and help people that we see that are having a hard time. I don't know what I can do in my community, but I should make some calls and figure out what I can do to help out and support everyone as much as we can. We need to love and support each other because our hospitals staff are going to be working day and night and support our teachers and support our teachers, support our doctors, support our political figures. Everybody is deserving of our love and respect. Their jobs are not easy, dealing with the public and all of these problems. So we want to support all of them and do what we can to be proactive. Um, I don't know. Someone had an interesting thought. What if this changes society in general? That we don't go to work anymore, that we don't go to the store anymore, that we don't go to movies anymore. My God, I hope not. Most of my relationships personal relationships are all with human contact. I can't imagine talking to just my friends through a telephone or all my business associates just on the phone and couldn't have dinner or spend time with them. Part of the wonderful journey of being a human being is the looking in someone's eye and being close to people and hugging them and being close. And so I'm hoping we get through this sooner than later so we could go back to our normal way of life. I love going to the movies. I cannot imagine never going to the movie again. That would be just terrible. I love opera. I love all of it. I love social events. So I'm hoping that we get back on track. I'm hoping that I can talk about something that's not so depressing as the coronavirus, ladies and gentlemen. It's not the easiest subject to talk about. I do know the number of deaths are around in the 30s, either 37 or 38. I'm not sure. And the amount of cases are over 1,200. But now more and more people are taking a test. That number probably will go up before it goes down. This is just my thinking. But they got to isolate it as quickly as possible and do what they can. I just want to say thank you, God, for this opportunity and everyone listening. That our hearts and souls are with you, my God, and that we find a way to get through this together and to love each other. The best thing we can do is spread love and light and joy and knowledge and information. And we can't make assumptions. It's easy to assume, oh, it won't happen to me. You need to start washing your hands. Don't have any doubt it can happen to you. Just one cough, one whiz, and of course you can get the disease. So it's important to be very careful. If you're around elderly people, very careful because you can inadvertently give it to them and not even know it. So um, I just want to thank you for being here and sharing with me this very moment in my life. And I like to say thank you. And if you're watching me on Rewind, thank you, thank you, thank you. I love it. We're going to take a couple more sips of wine. Here we go. So this is Margaux. I'm not sure of the brand of Margaux, but this glass is about 200 years old. It's from my husband's family, just by the way. We're going to talk about glassware. But talking about glassware, when the coronavirus just seems so quite trivial, doesn't it? But here we go. We'll take one more sip. What's my favorite quote that we talk about every day? Do you guys remember what the favorite quote is? It's love many, which is what I'm doing. Trust a few, because you know there's always bad apples in the world. Learn to paddle your own canoe. I'll repeat it again. Love many, trust a few, learn to paddle your own canoe. Love many, trust a few, learn to paddle your own canoe. Love many, love lots of people, trust only a few people, because not everybody has your best interest, and unfortunately there's some bad apples and of course negative people in the world. But the last part of that is learn to paddle your own canoe. Take control of your destiny, figure out your path in life, fight for what you want, what you believe in, put your heart into it, and be fearless. Be absolute fearless. You have nothing to lose. We're all at the end of the day are going to get our angel wings, I hope. Some may not get their angel wings, but we're in this human experience together. So I want to thank you again for coming to join me, and we'll be here tomorrow at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'm hoping to have some more positive news in all of this coronavirus news, but I think it's time we all work together, be one, and let's conquer this coronavirus, doggone it. Have a good day and even a better tomorrow.